All right, Tommy, we thank you. Tom McCarthy, John Kruk. We'll check back in with John, talking to Bryson Stott, Ricky Bottalico. When you look at what Stott did tonight, you look at what this team did. Their 11th straight win against an American League opponent, 11 straight wins on the road. They are now 24-23, above 500 for the first time on the road. 7 games above 500 during this season. Are you going to say anything?
I'm waiting for you to keep going.
What do you think?
No, this is great. I mean, when you look up and down the lineup, there's one guy in this lineup that didn't want a sixth at bat. Well, he got one, and that was Kyle Schwarber. He had a rough night. He was 0 for 6. You look up and down the lineup. The Phillies scored 8 runs tonight. There were 2 home runs hit, one by Turner, one by Castellanos, but 7 different players had RBIs. Tell me that's not the most beautiful thing you've ever heard, because that means you got a lot of cylinders kicking in on this team at the same time. And when I've been saying this, when this starts to happen, you're going to see a ton of hits and a ton of runs by the Phillies. You scored 8 runs against a really good team. So, you know what? Pat yourselves on the back. You look at what Bryson Stott did. I mean, look at his uniform, for crying out loud. Looks like Pigpen. Yeah. He looks like Pigpen right now.
I love that, though.
That's beautiful. That means he's playing the game hard. He's getting dirty. He's playing around in the dirt. That's always nice. I love when you see guys kind of all going together. This is what they talk about when they say they're going to pass the baton. Well, you know what? When you looked at the 5, 6, 7 hitters today, you don't see games like that. I mean, all 3 of them had multi-hit games. Stott had 4 hits. JT with 3. Everybody was going in the right direction. Everybody is on the same page tonight.
Well, that's 9 hits for those 3.
Those 3 guys.
For those 3 guys. You talk about the way you played the game. You played it messy. John Kruk played it messy. Let's go right now back to Tampa. Check in with John. Call tonight's game with Tom McCarthy. John, we've been trying to figure out this team the entire season. Now I think we're getting there. They won 3 out of 4. They've turned the corner to the second half of the season, and they really look like monsters. They look like road monsters, this Phillies team, John.
Yeah, you always thought coming into the season, you thought, whoa, if the pitching can keep up with the offense, this team's going to be dynamic. But then as the season progressed up into this point, you're like, okay, now can the offense keep up with the pitching, because the pitching was great. And I think they do this on purpose. They turn that mic on down there, and then people are standing down there. There we go. But, yeah, and tonight was like a complete game. The pitching was great. Taijuan Walker, I can't believe there's no consideration of bringing him to Seattle. I mean, what the heck?
Well, his manager's managing the team.
The guy's, got a third in the league in wins, and his ERA's low. I mean, I don't get it. But anyway, I digress. But he should be in Seattle. And Bryson Stott should have consideration for that. If someone gets hurt, an infield, you got to bring him there too. But this was about as good a game as I've seen the Phillies play.
John, Kyle Schwarber was 0 for 6 tonight. Would you think about trying to give him a day off and maybe rest him for a day? Or are you just kind of looking at the All-Star break and say, well, he'll get his rest there?
Yeah, you got to let him play it out right now. You're playing a team in Tampa Bay, like Bryson Stott said, that is one of the best teams in baseball. And, you're going down to Miami and playing against a team that's ahead of you. So, you want your guys in there, and I know it's been a struggle for Kyle. I'll tell you that I went 0 for 6 in a game once, and I mean it's deflating. And we ended up winning, so you're like, all right, whatever. It happens, and you try to work through it. But the great thing about that 0 for 6, it was my trajectory to being traded to the Phillies. So I was very pleased about that. And if I'd have known that, I'd have went 0 for 6 earlier.
Yeah, John, but sometimes it's addition by subtraction, if you know what I mean. You were never had the lowest batting average in Major League Baseball, which currently Kyle Schwarber has. And I know that's a tough label to have, but it's just the truth. So I don't know where they go from here, but essentially they're batting with 8 guys.
Yeah, but, he's got 22 homers.
Yeah, that's true.
I get it. But, you think about, look, can he be pitched to? Yes, right now he can be pitched to. But if you're the starting pitch and you're coming out there and you look up and the leadoff hitter for the Phillies has 22 homers, you're like, oh, good God. Like, what? What the heck's going on? And, every series is different. and look, tomorrow Kyle's liable to come out and hit a couple homers, and you're like, all right, so why should we bench him? And look, he's going to hopefully get some rest as a DH when Bryce comes to play in first base. Who knows when? Hopefully after the All-Star break. And so Kyle will get that DH rest, and maybe he does need a rest. But you got 4 games left right now to the All-Star break. You got to throw him out there, and he will run into one eventually in the next 4 games, and it'll be hopefully a big home run and help the Phillies win a game.
I hope you are right. Last one for you. You said at the top that this was their best win of the season. I would agree, or it might have been their best win of the season. What makes that so in your view?
Well, I think it was their best played game. As far as offense goes, I know they scored the 19 runs and whatever, but, how many games have we seen the Phillies play? It's like, if they don't hit a home run, they don't win. Well, how many singles did they hit tonight? But they hit consecutive singles, and they came up with big hits when they needed to. Brandon Marsh, a big 2-out RBI single. Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm. I mean, the list goes on and on. But they put together great at-bats. And, look, they're going to hit home runs. I know Nick hit one tonight. They're going to hit their fair share of home runs, especially now that it's getting warmer up there in Philadelphia. We saw how the ball carried the last homestand. And I just firmly believe that, the more pressure you put on by getting guys on base, especially with this new rule now where you can only throw over twice, and we have some guys that can steal bases, it puts a lot of pressure on that pitcher to have to, do I throw over? Don't I throw over? And now what do I throw to these guys who are hitting everything I've thrown up there? It makes it tough. It makes it tough on the opponent, and I hope they keep that same approach through the All-Star break and after the break, too.
All right, John. How far do you live from there, by the way? Long drive, right?
Where? Yeah, 2.5.
2.5? Okay.
Yeah, why? You want me to call you when I get home?
Would you? I worry about you driving. So if you...
Oh, I'm going to the hotel.
I know you are.
There.
All right, my friend. Thanks so much. We'll check you tomorrow.
All right.
John Kruk joining us from the booth. Ricky Bo, look at this. Right here. Longest road, because he doesn't live far from there. Longest road win streaks, franchise history.
13, right?
Well, 13's the record. That's 1976.
We'll get there.
That team was a playoff team. That team went to the NLCS. That team had 101 wins, Ricky Bo. But this one, the next longest, is the current team. June 13th to right now. They take it tomorrow. They are 1 game away from tying that road record.
Yeah, they're playing great baseball, especially when they go out on the road. It almost seems like they relax when they get away from Citizens Bank Park. Maybe they put too much pressure on themselves when they're at home. It seems like ever since, for about a month now, they go out on the road, and it's like fireworks. It's like the 4th of July every day for them, which is a beautiful thing. I mean, you go out on the road, you have some fun with the guys, you hit the ball out of the ballpark, you win some games, you go back to the hotel, sleep, and do it all over again the next day. It makes things a lot easier when you're traveling, when you're winning games, that's for sure.
This team has been winning games for, now we're going on 1 month plus a month and a half. They're among the best teams in baseball. Pretty special. What's their manager think? Here's Rob Thompson in the manager's office.
Walker might not have had his best stuff, but how impressed were you that he was able to make it through 7 innings for you?
He's a competitor, He's just effectively wild tonight. But he is. And I thought his stuff was good. He just, the 2 4-ball walks, or 4-pitch walks, I should say. Just kind of out of nowhere. But, effectively wild, I'd say.
Just overall to come in here and win a series already against one of the best teams in baseball, what do you think has helped you guys do that, and just what kind of momentum builder did this?
Well, last night we got great pitching, and tonight we got really good hitting. And some clutch hitting. Stoddard had a big night. JT had a big night. The Marsh base hit to get us up 4 was huge. Castellanos home run. I mean, up and down the lineup, we swung the bats really well.
In the past, people have talked about this as like a power-based lineup, but this is a bunch of times now recently that you guys have been able to string together hits, and you did it 3 times tonight. I mean, do you see like a different style of offense coming from you guys recently? Or?
No, I don't think so. I still think of us as a power lineup. I really do. But these guys can hit too. I think our batting average has been pretty good all year. I don't think we've hit the home runs that we thought we'd hit, but I think they're coming.
It's 11 in a row now on the road.
Yeah.
Is there something about style of play on the road or anything about getting away? And
I had no idea. I really don't. We're just playing good baseball, I think, is the biggest thing. That's a good club over there.
Really, those first 3 at-bats, the 3 hits, all over 100 miles an hour off the bat.
Yeah.
Just continuing through those at-bats, what you liked about what you saw?
Well, he went through a stretch where his timing was off a little bit. Now I think his timing's on. And he goes through some stretches like that, especially with the leg kick. When you have the leg kick, sometimes you can kind of get your timing gets off. But right now he's swinging about well, and he's making solid contact.
And you saw a little bit of the Trey Turner you thought you'd see, right?
Yeah, what do you got? 2 hits tonight,
Yep.
And he can do that. He can get on base. He can hit home runs. He can play good defense, steal bases. He stole some bases tonight, which put some pressure on them. So it was a good night all around.
You always talked last year about how you like the quality of Stotts at bats as a rookie.
Yeah.
The quality's been good. He's getting more hits now this year. What do you think has led him sort of evolve? The quality of the bats never changed.
Yeah.
He's getting more results.
Yeah, I think comfort level has a lot to do with it. I think he's fouling off a lot more balls this year. He's making people work and making them come to him, and he's barreling out more balls this year. So he can hit. He really can. And I just hope he keeps it going.
Make it kind of difficult on an opposing pitcher getting through the meat of your order and then having to deal with that in the 6th spot, a guy who fouls off that many pitches and works those at bats.
Yeah, and the guys at the bottom of the lineup have swung the bats pretty well as of late, and they've produced a lot for us. So when that happens, it's a good sign, because the guys at the top at some point are gonna produce.
How was it to reconnect with Zach Eflin and get in that NLCS ring?
Fantastic. Kind of emotional for me, because he's such a good guy. He's such a pro on and off the field, and I know he was happy. He was really happy when he saw the ring, because it's a beautiful ring, and I think the world of him.